Hi guys. So what you have on the screen is a 3D turntable of Shangri-La Frontier character that I turned from a 2D inspiration to a 3D model. And I wanted to talk about like inspiration a little bit. What inspires someone to go down this route of creating? And I wanted to take a step back and why I create. And I can say now that I haven't received an artist block in a long time, but the last one I received was a major one. And this was at a time where I was going deep in the sculpting route. I was physically using traditional clay and sculpting every single day. And maybe I came across burnout very early on, or I listened to others where the opinion of older people at that time was swaying me to go down a completely whole different route than artist route, than creating, right? I'm taking a step back. I was a part of this magnet program years ago, revolving around art, traditional art, understanding color theory, proportions, scales, perspective, everything, the whole works, right? And I was pretty good at it. Like I had a small, nice portfolio. It looked pretty interesting. In retrospect, I was surprised I can enter in and out of the muse so easily, as if time itself didn't exist. It was just me and the art piece. It was just beautiful. At such a young age too. And reality checked in. Unfortunately, I listened to some people that I thought had the best interest in my heart. At the same time, the choices that I had, if I wanted to continue going down that route, were very slim, right? Either I put my family in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to go into art school with a animation program that wasn't even fully fledged out. It was just an extension of what I did the past X amount of years, right? Or I just try to figure out with the internet resources. And this was very early on. This was before Instagram was even a thing, before Facebook was like prominent within the culture. Like there was no learning or tutorial resources for many of the things I wanted to do back then. And once again, I listened to somebody older than me that had the best they thought they were the best interest in heart. So I went down that rabbit hole. I didn't go to art school right after high school. I went in for business administration and accounting, which was pretty interesting, right? So I reached this point where I didn't touch art for well over 3 to 4 years. Nothing at all, right? It was just a completely whole different field, right? In my head, I was thinking, I guess if I could step into my younger self's shoes, I was thinking, success? Like, who cares about a degree if you have $1 million in the bank, right? All I was doing was chasing the bag in my head. Nothing else mattered but the bag. How does this relate to art? I'll bring it all around, but this was my journey. I fell in love with understanding human communications, right? I put myself in so many conversations with random people. Like I would go up, constantly talk to random individuals because I was so fascinated on one of the most complex things a human will ever encounter, and it's just talking to people, understanding them. And not from like a businessman, like scummy, like, let me try to sell you something standpoint, even though I did learn that aspect growing up as well, right? But I was kind of grateful for it, right? It made me understand relationships and the meaningful behind it, but the passion of creating was long gone at that time. And during that whole 3-4 years, me getting this business administration degree, going into accounting, intermediate accounting, it was soulless. I didn't want to. There's nothing appealing. There's no passion there. I was chasing the bag. I had enough money in the bank. I was happy. All right, cool, great. Working at this other business, happy to just hang out with friends rather than my 9 to 5. And I get it. Not many individuals in the world have an opportunity to be like, oh man, my 9 to 5 is so cool. But here, I was in that same boat. I didn't fall in love with it. I was just tired of it, day in, day out, and a part of me, I had a lack of discipline too at this time. I didn't have the motivation just to go into a 9 a.m. class, something so simple like a cinema appreciation class. So simple. All I had to do was go there, watch a movie, and write a whole short essay on the difference of whatever the author wanted at that time. And I didn't have that discipline or that drive to. And of course, it was like a humanities, like a little elective class that I had to take just to get the degree. But I noticed that in me, that something was truly missing. So, like any rational human being would do, I joined the military. And within the military, within the United States Marine Corps, I found adventure around every corner. I've experienced like a whole lifetime within such a short period of time. Trauma bonding with all your brothers and sisters is fun. Seeing people at the best and the worst of humanity and encountering rock bottom. And within rock bottom, finding out I had a basement. Yeah, it got a little bit dark, definitely. But there, where I had nothing, bare bones, nothing else mattered. I'll probably go into it in another video, but that's where I found my passion. That's where I found my why. My why to keep on living. And what saved me was many reasons, but one of them was creating, the main one. And ever since then, I've never looked back. I never dreamed of ever having artist block, or never like creating every single day. That's my why. It saved me mentally, physically, emotionally, everything from that spot. And going back to inspiration, I'm gonna go back and finish that story later on, but during my military career, I was reaching a point where I started seeing these videos on social media of artists, in different part of their journey, but I was getting jealous. I was looking at some of their art pieces and I'm like, in my eyes, I can definitely do 10 times better than whatever they're doing right now. And they're getting hundreds of thousands of views, and I'm like seizing. I'm showing my buddies, and of course this is not the right mentality or the right mind space, even though I was a little bit younger and I understand that now. But I was jealous, and they were like, and they egged me on. They were like, bro, you can't do that. And from there on, that passion even grew stronger, and I'm like, I will show you. You don't know who you're talking to right now. They don't. Whew, I got so. It got under my skin. So I got back into creating. Unfortunately, it wasn't things that I wanted to create. It was just me, once again, chasing the bag and finding other ways of having passive income, right? But I started customizing shoes for clients, and I loved it. It was interesting because I got to paint, and I was like, finally happy. Watching tutorials after tutorials, going down the rabbit hole, seeing what works, what doesn't work, what's the benefits of using a certain type of paint over another, and then selling enough custom shoes, and to the point in which it got me a paint kit. It got me a tattooing machine. It got me to the next level of what I truly want to get to, right? I keep going down this street where I'm doing these art pieces for clients for, oh my God, another Hello Kitty. Oh my God, another Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse shoe on a van. I was losing my mind. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this, but I understand there's a simple balance where I have to do certain amount of art that might not be truly appealing to me, so I can sell it, so it can fund my other true passions, so I can be like those other artists where all they do is make what they want to create. So I didn't find that balance right away. All I was doing is making fan art, back to back, and I didn't give enough room for my creative juices to flow. And I truly understand that now. So whenever I start making art now, right, like I try to find niches where it's fan art, but I am in love with it. So what you have on the screen right now, Shangri-La Frontier's new age anime came out earlier this year on Crunchyroll, and I fell in love with it. And I found this cute character, like, adorable. I'm like, man. And I looked up online to see if there's any interesting 3D models of this character, and there wasn't. And I'm like, what? There's a void. No one has made a character of one of my favorite animes? I'm like, no way. This would be a great opportunity where I hit multiple boxes, where I hit fan box, where I hit passion, where I hit like stuff that I'm like, oh man, I'm happy to make this. It was so fun along the process. Like, you can see my picture in the corner right now. I'm scowling, like I hyper concentrating, and I can kind of see what am I doing is completely wrong, but I'm just getting used to getting to Substance Painter here in this video, but I know what I've done. Like now, looking at some of these videos that I'm talking over, I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I could do this 10 times better or faster. But I digress. Let's get back to the subject at hand, inspiration and how I got here. I found rock bottom. I found my love and passion for art once again. And now I'm here talking about my journey in front of you guys. Yeah, I could be talking about the technical aspects of this art piece, right? Like for this character, especially, it was made in ZBrush mainly, right? So the polygons were out of this freaking world. But we were doing a high to low workflow in this semester for this character. For the previous object, which was the whole scenery, the stones, the wood, and the foliage with the carrot, with the buck, that was a low to high, but this one was a high to low. So after we did a retopology, and I did a proper, how do we say? There's a proper name for it, where the polygons just flow very well for the facial features. Once I got that down, in the beginning of this video, I retargeted it. So you can have all that depth maps and all your details onto this low model, pretty much. All right, but let's see. Once again, I'm doing that basic, like, I toss in a material, of a certain color I like, and then either I can turn off like the roughness, the color, the normals, whatever, and then I put like a black mask, and I paint over that black mask on certain places where I want to keep it, and that's pretty much most of my workflow. I occasionally add a stamp in there, um, do some actual line work, but most of my stuff is a little bit procedural, just to, you know, get to the production line faster, right? Because I'm not trying to spend multiple hours on this, right? And total, me painting this character as well as the previous character models for like the whole scenery, I think it probably only took like around 2 hours and some change, right? Yeah, but I digress. I can go into the technical aspects, but what would be more valuable to you guys? A little bit of storytelling, a little bit of understanding that balancing in life has to come first before creating. In my opinion, that's how I see it, right? If you're not balanced in your day-to-day, truly finding something that you're passionate about, then what are you truly doing? Oh, I have one of my boys here in the video. That guy right there, his name is Mason. He's probably going to be one of the best artists in our generation, or in your guys' generation, because he's a little bit younger than me, but he's freaking, like, he's insane. If I am in a classroom and I see him, I have to sit next to him, because being near him, Mason, it makes me want to do better. Seeing the art that he puts out, I'll even put him in the biography, because in the bio, because seeing him not only have nothing but grit and discipline to get the job done, like you get assigned an art piece and he's doing it the day of, right? Nothing else matters until he gets the job done. He is so efficient with his time. His time management skills is far beyond anybody his age should have. Like, it's crazy. and he tells me sometimes, like, that I inspire him, but it's the other way around, because he's definitely younger than me, and I always phrase it as in, when I was your age, you're kicking my ass 100%. That's it. I'm probably like, what, 8 years older than you, and yeah, I have some art pieces under my belt. Yeah, I have possibly some portfolio pieces that might get me into the industry, who knows. But dude, I wish I was in your position. He didn't stop, right? He got into high school, he did that magnet art program, and right after that he went into this amazing university filled with these juggernaut of human beings. Like, every corner you look inside of the school is just filled to the brim with creativity, and it inspires me and it drives me to continue moving forward. So besides inspiration is community, and finding those like-minded individuals to to continue pushing you forward. I love it. This is what I was missing the whole time. Creating in a bunker by yourself is great and all, but if you don't have that community aspect where you send them something like 2 a.m. and they respond because they're out grinding with you at the same time, and they send you, hey man, yeah, that color is kind of trash, you should probably change it. Right? There's some times where you're looking so close at the art piece, so close at the colors, that, oh my god, if I turned in the first draft of anything I ever did, it would have been terrible. I am so honored to have these individuals that I can just bounce ideas off. Be like, hey, if you were in my shoes, would you have done this? Are the proportions all right? Are the scaling correct? Is the hues off? Should I have it more saturated or desaturated? Is it right? There's so many aspects, and there's times where I need to step away from a piece because I've been staring at it for too long, or I haven't shown anybody. and being open to that critique is also like it's inevitable to be a good artist. You need to be open to critique as well, and having that community. But yeah, finding the why, having a good story, being well-rounded in your life, right? You got to be balanced. If you want to create something magical, I believe you have to be balanced. There's individuals in my school they make some amazing stuff, but at the sacrifice of what, right? They're creating all throughout the night. And yeah, I used to be that midnight owl, burning the candles on both ends, and I loved it. But it wasn't sustainable at all. And I see that now. And that's one thing I want to share with the community. Is like, you can have both. You can be an amazing artist at the same time as having a balanced life. But I guess that's one aspect. That's one perspective, right? There's plenty of perspectives out there that like you just find honorable in falling in love with the muse. Nothing else matters but creating, and where every other aspect of your life, right? You could be losing in every other game, but when it comes to art, you are a badass. And there is respect in that, right? There's always something appealing to having that arrogant drummer or that arrogant director where he's like, I know my shit because I spend every waking moment to know it. And that's beautiful, but at what cost, right? Yeah, you'll leave a legacy. I wholeheartedly agree, and that is beautiful. I would love that. But will you raise a family? Would you have friends on the weekends come over? Will you be exercising and feel happy on the way you look and feel? Will be one with the, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased here, but I love, man. Sorry, I went down a crazy rabbit hole. But I guess we could go back to, we talked about inspiration. We talked about community, balance, life, and art. I guess, let me show you what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, so I am transferring some materials onto the skin of the main character's face, but I probably haven't figured this out yet. But I need to turn off all the color balance, right? I'm just trying to keep the roughness and normal maps, or possibly the displacement maps, to have this sort of bumpiness of fur. And I'm just changing the scale as well. I'm probably picking the wrong material at this point. This is probably like not the right one. Oh, also off to the side on another screen, I do have all my references as well for the clothing, the colors of that 2D character. So if you see me darting my eyes, that's where I'm pretty much looking at and trying to figure this out. And I'm currently in this video, I'm currently at school just videotaping this. And I found this more efficient, right? I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be making these projects back to back, whether it's a character, an environment, or if I'm doing some VFX in Unreal Engine or something, I might as well film it, right? And then talk back on it once I'm done with the project and see like, oh, this is what I did at the same time. Like, here's a little bit of some storytelling. And I think you guys will find that pretty efficient. Ooh, wow, that's a nice wood texture. Huh. But I don't think I use it. I should have. This is one thing. I only got the painting of the characters in here. I do have some other models where you see me create it in ZBrush, but I don't paint it in Substance Painter. I probably paint it only in ZBrush, and then I pass it on into Keyshot, and then I add the materials there, and then I do a render, which is interesting. but I'm not a big fan of Keyshot. It feels very outdated of a UI. For Substance Painter, I love it. It's great. It's so intuitive, but it kind of slows down the process of the workflow because you have to have a proper UV unwrapped character. And I know look, my UV unwrap of that character, as you can see off to the side, it's not the best. That actually looks terrible. Like if my professor saw my UV unwrapped of that character, they'll be like, what the hell are you doing? But because I know how to cut corners, right? Not to brag. I know how to cut some goddamn corners. I did that UV unwrap pretty shitty, and I could still make it look good. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. But hey, if you're my professor out there and you're watching this video, I'm sorry, but hey, all in the name of creating, am I right? But yeah, going back, I'm excited. Next few semesters I'll be in school and I'll just be nothing but digital, just creating every single day. And I'm probably gonna film a lot more. And this was probably a couple months ago of me doing this, right? And now it's me actually talking over it. I probably should have been more efficient with my time and done this sooner, but hey, we were bombarded, dude. Like out of all the universities I've been a part of, which is probably four to five, because I've done a couple different degree programs. Not to call myself a professional student or anything, but let's just say I like trying new things. And out of all the degree programs, here is probably where I realized I was probably using the wrong character, right? Like I had an outdated, detailed mesh of the character, and I went in and I altered it out. So I probably gonna save all those materials or do a quick video on top of that. So let's see what does what does Danny do a couple months ago? Cool. Yeah, I'm just importing it. Let's see. Perfect. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, I re-imported it because I did see some weird artifact within the chin area, and I went in there and just slightly altered the mesh because I was like freaking out, like what did I do here? And that's what happens when you start cutting some corners. You might have to go back and actually change it. And hey, that's a part of life, dude. I really hope you're enjoying this. And hey, I was just talking to someone. I had a old roommate of mine came by. He's also a friend, colleague of mine, Abneil. And he came in, asked me about these YouTube videos. And I told him, it'd be so cool if you make enough of these videos that, like, worst case scenario, it doesn't blow up. It doesn't, there's not enough views or whatever. Like, my family, let's say I have kids tomorrow. My kids can go back and be like, what was dad doing in 2025, right? In May or whatever. And they can see me just talk about random stuff of what I was thinking of in that year, at that time, how old I was or whatever. That is beautiful if you think about it, right? I have a small little podcast talking about art, inspiration, and giving you some insights of what I did and how I made this character. That is freaking cool. It is so amazing, man. And that's what I was telling him. Worst case scenario, if it gets like 100 views, cool. But if my kid sees this in the future, now that's cool. Imagine that. Like your future bloodline, year 2145, 2125, and he's or she is there just, wow, listening to grandpa. Right? Now we're going to reach this point where we're just going to have such history and data where you can go back, right? Right now, you don't have, I don't have that many photos of loved ones until a certain amount of years. I got 2 generations of photos. That's it. And a couple voice recordings of of my dad, of my mom. For grandma, grandpa, I don't have voice recordings of them. It's kind of sad, right? You don't remember how their voice is anymore. They kind of get lost. And I feel like doing this is leaving somewhat of a legacy, like a little, it's like a little treasure piece. You don't even know it, and it would take your family member, your bloodline, to listen through the whole video to be like, oh my God, he's talking about something so deep. He's possibly talking to me right now. It's very meta. Going into the weeds of things, but that's what I found fascinating about not only talking about whatever is on the cusp of my mind at that very moment, as well as making something beautiful, right? Because here is multiple layers. I made this amazing character. I'm doing a video, trying my best to do an amazing video, and trying my best to talk over it as well. Having a little bit of good music off to the side. It's just creating on multiple levels, and I just find that really fascinating. And I'm glad to share it with you guys, and that's pretty interesting. So if this made you smile, might as well just hit me a thumbs up. I never thought I would say that, you know? Me and my friends at school always like play around while we're talking. Hey, make sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, that's freaking hilarious. But a big shout out to my boy Mason. I'll probably make another video and just like, not praise him, but like be like, hey man, this guy's a goat. You have to follow him if you want to be the know-how of the best artist you'll ever, or one of the best artists you'll ever encounter. I put my money on this freaking guy, hands down. With that being said, we're probably like 31 minutes or some change deep in here, and all I gotta say is thank you for your time. Truly appreciate it. There's probably definitely a lot more videos to go, but I'm gonna tap out on this one. That's it on the amount of bandwidth I have to talk. I guess that's it. 30 minutes is my freaking limit. That's funny. With some of these podcasts, I see individuals talking for 3-4 hours straight, and I love it. I love just sitting there and listening and seeing how other individuals think and how they are rewired, and I just find that fascinating. So once again, thank you again for your time. I truly appreciate it. If you got any sort of value of this, drop a subscribe, drop a like. Maybe I'll see you in another video. Maybe I'll see you in another talk. It's nice just having someone in the background talking while you're working, and that's pretty interesting. And maybe it inspires you or makes you see things in a different light, and that's beautiful as well. So once again, thank you. And have a good day. I hope you have a really good day.